And welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for episode 2 of The Seekers. We have our full cast and crew here. It's going to be an exciting game. So let's jump right into things. We have Keith from Material Components. We have Kai from Stonefly Kai. We have Sam the Wizened Fool. And we have our wonderful, illustrious, bearded and ponytailed game master himself, Johnny, aka the Video Store Cowboy. That being said, guys, there is no way to donate this season, but if you want to support the channel, please go check us out on Patreon. And with that, we'll turn things over to Video Store Cowboy himself. Johnny, take us away into the world of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Previously on The Seekers. Standing on the cusp of two worlds that have been forced together, the Nora seeker Eloy has begun to assemble a group of unlikely companions to lend her aid. Her quest: to understand the world in the aftermath of the Eclipse attack on Meridian. While Hades may have been defeated and the corrupted had been culled from the herds of machines, there is still much to do. To this end, she has brought together a Nora brave, a Karja soldier, and a Banuk shaman. Feyre, a warrior healer, has come to at the call of the Nora but seeks to serve her own needs. Tues has been forced into service by the Sun King and hopes to find redemption. Tejak, well, no one really knows why Tejak has come, except that he has searched for Eloy to gain knowledge. And Crona, a fourth companion, has gone missing. While Eloy has headed off to discover the whereabouts of Crona, she had tasked the group to break Nora tradition and delve into the Forbidden Ruins. They're there to find a tool called a focus that was created by the Old Ones. Eloy assures them that it is invaluable. It is an invaluable artifact that will help them on their journey. After the group easily dispatches a trio of watchers and descends into the ruins, they discover a terrible sight. Dead bodies, still decaying and wearing strange clothing never seen by any of the tribes. And each dead body is still wearing a focus. When Tues places a focus to his ear, his world changes and he hears an eerie voice coming from nowhere as we fade in. All right. As Tues put the focus to his right ear, he closed his eyes and his entire skull erupts in pain. When he is finally able to recover, he begins to realize that his field of vision has changed. What he will come to know as the focus's interface is all around him. He is surrounded by a wide geodesic polyhedron of holographic light with iconographic markers all around him. As he takes in the scene, he begins to see the differences within the holographic light. There are various light structures and icons which are displayed in purple and blue hues. A strange-looking triangle hovers by the lower right field of his vision. He reaches out for it and somehow interacts with it. At his gesture, a voice immediately plays in his head and a series of texts begin to appear in his vision. Below the weirdly positioned triangle, we see the name Connor Chasen labeled there. At the bottom center portion of his vision, sentences begin to appear and he realizes that the text is the same as the otherworldly voice is saying to him. I mean, seriously, record our thoughts for posterity? Great idea, Dr. Evans. Like, I haven't done enough for posterity already. Like, I wouldn't be here like this if not for posterity. I'm done with posterity. Posterity can go, and then silence. The voice fades, and over the weird triangle, the text appears and is flashing. Play again. It's on you, Tues. What are you doing?
Please tell me at least one of you guys heard that.
I have heard nothing. You seem to be standing in place.
Well, I'm a little bit worried that if I try to move anywhere, I'm going to vomit.
What did you hear?
There's a lot of lights, and there's a some guy talking about posterity.
I find it disconcerting that lights and the talk of posteriors make you want to vomit, but not the corpses that surround us.
That's not an unfair point, but I've spent a lot more time around corpses than having strange voices talk in my head or glowing lights appear out of nowhere.
You're not helping your case.
I recognize that.
Perhaps we leave?
Well, okay. I mean, there's apparently stuff all over that.
Can you touch it?
What is it happens if I try to reach out at one of the little points?
When you reach out to one of the interfaces, and if you look at the game table, you can actually see what when the device is engaged. You can see the geodesic sort of polyhedron thing going on around you in your vision, and you can see the lit up interfaces around you of this otherwise encrusted, sort of desk material or desk setup. It's encrusted with dirt, and of course, other types of shifting of rocks and kinds of things. But when you reach out and sort of touch some of it, it kind of flickers and it does something, but the interface is so garbled that you can't really see anything what's going on. You make out letters, maybe the occasional symbol, but you can't really do anything else.
Does anyone else see it lighting up?
No. Only you.
Something. Whatever it was that Nora Seeker did, somehow everything reacts when you put this thing on. Changes the way the world is viewed.
Oh.
It's really hurting my brain.
She did ask us to wait.
Can you just take it off?
Can I just take it off?
Yeah.
You sure can. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I meant that in character. Can I pull it off? Doesn't work.
Yeah, you can immediately just kind of pull it off, and as you do, everything just kind of, disappears.
I think maybe
and
that's
you see
more
the ground. Yes, and it does. It is disorienting when that actually happens.
Yeah, blinks again. And it's like, yeah, take it off.
Do you still see the colors?
I do not.
Oh, well then, that solves your problem.
Maybe it doesn't work for you if it makes your head hurt so bad.
I was getting used to it once it happened. The lights and the way it works, it was just made me a little dizzy. Look, if you put it on, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I'll wait.
Well, I do want to try something. And he squats down into his mushroom form, and you see him reach into his hat at this point, really. And he pulls out both of the focuses that he has, and he puts them both on.
Again.
What?
Yeah. He's why put one on and then see what happens and just put them both on at the same time?
Fair enough, I guess.
All right. You place the one on, and immediately you don't have any problem. It just kind of sits onto your face, and you just kind of take it all in, and of course you see sort of the world around you light up. Because of the way that you kind of put it on, there's actually a slight difference. When Teus, engaged it, when he put it on his head, he actually engaged some of the functionality of the focus, and so he got that geodesic shape. But instead of what he was seeing, what you're seeing is what's now on the screen, which is you still see the displays lit up, and it looks like that you might be able to still interact with them, but you actually don't see the geodesic interface, and you 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 don't see the geodesic interfa As you put the second one on, it does nothing.
Oh.
You see what I'm talking about? It changes everything. The whole world lights up and it dances around.
Oh, I'm not concerned with that. I'm more concerned with how disappointing it is that this one does nothing. And he takes it off and puts it on. It takes it off and puts it on. It takes it off. No change at all.
Does it hurt your head?
No, I'm fine.
I'll put it back on. Does it like do the same thing?
As you do, this time when you put it onto your head, you don't feel the pain that you felt last time. You don't feel that overwhelming sort of sense of headache. Your world does not also appear to be encompassed in a sort of a geodesic polyhedron kind of a thing. Instead, you just see the lit up displays. And when you look in surprise over at Tejak, through his headdress, you see a slight sort of glow indicated right near where his head would be. And it looks to be a little ring sort of on the side of his head.
Except you see two, because he's got two on.
Except that the other one, the one on the... So I'm assuming you put the first one on your right ear. If you put the second one on your left ear, it actually doesn't light up.
Oh, how disappointing.
I think these things are friends, but it doesn't seem to like the not working one.
Yes, this one just doesn't do anything. I'll store it for now. We have plenty.
Well, I think I'm good now. Whatever was happening, my mind got used to it. I guess.
Johnny, can I look around at these displays and see if I can make anything out of this? Apart from the message from Connor, whatever his name was.
Well, so you don't actually see any representation of that message. You do see when you look at Teus, you also see the ring, and it's sort of this like floating holographic ring that just kind of appears just about maybe half an inch to an inch from his ear.
Okay.
And it's sort of a blue color. But as you're kind of taking around, kind of looking around and like taking it in, and you look at him, you see that sort of halo. Then at the bottom of your screen comes some information, and you see Connor Chasen listed there, and you see some sort of other text which appears to be some sort of title, and what it indicates actually is a military rank of some kind. And you kind of focus on that, and you're focusing on him, and then a sort of holographic picture pops up of this particular person, and you see sort of like this weird purple sort of grainy lined image of him. Not like a picture as if you were looking at him in person, not a picture as we would represent it, but more just something in the holographic interface that kind of looks like a representation of the person.
Does it do anything?
No.
I poke in the vicinity of where it is. Right, like if it's in my vision, I like a 3D movie, I try to poke it.
Do you just poke me?
I'm feeling like I need some sort of a roll here.
Sure.
Oh man, I was really just hoping it was just like
you jab Teus. I am assuming this would be like an intelligence roll.
Unless you've got you've got a skill that might be applicable.
I'm not. So I guess I'm just trying to comprehend this, right? So I have. We can change the wording on this, but I have understanding the Numenera, which I guess in this case would be understanding old tech.
No, that's perfectly fine. The understanding Numenera works just fine with that. So yeah, okay. This is probably going to be. I'm going to say like a level 2 or a level 3 kind of a thing, given the fact that you've got. Given that let's say level 3, and then you can.
Okay, so difficulty is going to be 3. I'm not going to spend any points. I'm just going to use my training in this to see what happens here. I fail, so I just poke at ambient space.
Well, as you're poking at the ambient space, you get a bunch of like additional information. All of a sudden, what it does is like it starts overwhelming you with a bunch of information about Connor Chasen, but it's all too fast. You're seeing videos, you're seeing documents kind of being displayed. You're getting all this text, and it's just all coming at you, and you're overwhelmed with it for just a second as that information just all kind of washes over you, and it's gone. And then again, you see Taya standing right there with you.
It's a face.
The interface.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like what this is. Did you see that, Teus?
I saw you trying to poke me.
There's a man's face. I touched the man's face. I touched it. And then the face enlarged, and more faces and words flew at my head. It was very aggressive.
If you're gonna touch my face, more than words are likely to fly at your head. Don't be poking me.
Oh. I will take that under advisement. I think we should leave.
Well, we got what we came here for. Farah, you know this. This is your land.
Yeah, I'll lead the way. I think we were using the blue globe to light the way.
You were.
Oh, that's right. I had a glow globe.
I
was floating that.
Oh, we don't even need it now. We've got lights.
Yeah, just the two of us, though.
I don't know that you should put them on your head without the warnings, though.
I mean, I appear to be fine.
What if the machines are eating your brains?
Way I see it, better it eats my brain than any of yours. There's a reason I was in that cage. I'm expendable.
I feel like your Eloy, she stumbled in here as a child and just placed one on her head, and robots didn't eat her brain.
You have no idea if that's the case.
I would assume that she would not be with us if machines ate her brain.
She might have the warnings, though, to come with them.
Right. Well,
let's get back to her.
Too late now. And he floats the glow globe back towards the entryway.
Honestly, as these things feed on brains, I think his is going to starve. Just follows behind.
As the three of you are beginning to move away, there are two things that catch. So Teus and Tejak, are you leaving the focus is on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As the two of you are, as the three of you are moving in direction back towards the, sort of the sinkhole at where the pool of water was, the two of you actually separately catch iconography at a distance deeper into the cave. Like just hanging there.
What is the iconography?
Teus would recognize them as the play buttons that he saw specifically for the recorded message.
Yeah. When I see one, I'll tap it.
You get a little like thing that sort of pops up on the interface. Not in range. Please close distance.
Are you pressing a face?
No, it was last time I did it. It was a voice. This time there's nothing.
Oh, I just got attacked by aggressive faces when I did it.
That's. I think. Let's go talk to the seeker. I think Favorite might have a point here.
Well then, this way, and he continues to float the glow globe.
So as you move back in towards the pool, and you can look up from the sinkhole, you can look up and you can see that there are two shapes sort of standing over the sinkhole looking down. And you hear Eloy's voice calling down to you. Did you find anything?
I put 2 on.
Did it work?
1 did.
That's been my experience too. Your choice of putting 2 on is confusing, even to me.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, 1 was plenty for me.
All right. And she throws a rope down and she says, here, climb up quickly. And the rope is makes it easy for you to basically just get up there.
I would offer to Andre the Giant climb them up the rope, Princess Bride style.
Cliffs of insanity.
We'll keep that next time.
I think I'm going to need a might check for that just for fun. All right. So the three of you are able to kind of scramble up. And as you kind of step outside out of the sinkhole and back into the valley that is known as the Embrace, you see Eloy sort of standing there, and she of course helps kind of both of you, or all three of you, up, and standing just off, just behind and just kind of taking in the scene. We see Crona. Crona, why don't you describe yourself?
The character introduction. Yeah, Crona is wearing very strange clothing to you guys. Kind of like a long poncho flowing and fluttering in the wind, and with many bells kind of strung through the fabrics, and long flowing anime boy hair, and very, very young and kind of charming looking, and is looking very inquisitively into the distance, but is noticeably glancing at you guys to make sure that you're paying attention to him. Yeah, that's my intro.
Is this the missing one?
She looks at you and then she looks back at him and she shrugs and she says, "Yes, this is the one that I couldn't find with the caravan. He can tell you himself in his own good time the kind of trouble that he got himself into."
It is a tale, quite a tale, my friends. And Crona grabs hold of your guys' shoulders, like as if you're close friends already, and says, "What? Let us walk and talk and learn of what you found."
I think when like Taz first saw Crona, you see this like expression like, oh, this is unfortunate. But then like when that happens, there's maybe a moment where he's like, oh, okay, maybe he doesn't recognize me. He's just gonna kind of roll with it. So he's just gonna sort of follow along. But he's looking a little bit off kilter upon seeing Crona is who the fourth member of this group was.
Yeah, I think Crona introduces himself with this grand, like really low bow, and sweeps out the crazy poncho and says, "I am Crona Storm Speaker of the Utaru tribes. I am prophet, fortune teller, oracle." And as he's glancing between, as he's rising, he's glancing between everyone, and then sees Teos and just kind of freezes and visibly stumbles over his grandiloquent introduction.
Do continue. I was enraptured.
The tale of where I was, you are curious. Well, you see, I got tired of walking. It is quite a long walk from the city of Meridian, as I'm sure you're aware. And so, well, it is. It is a grand city you've never been before.
I have not.
Well, Banuk friend, you shall see before the day is done.
I don't think I will. It sounds like it's a very far walk, and the day is waning.
Yes.
The day is gone.
Waned.
Does the poncho make noise from the bells when you like move?
Oh yeah,
No, it's loud enough on its own.
Very shiny, and I think there's like little. It's decidedly not very tribal looking. Like it's almost like silken and very. It has the kind of smack of like big city living. It has like maybe threads of silver woven into it and whatnot. Though it looks like a tribal style, it's very clearly like made of fancy fabrics.
You're gonna get a scene out here in the Embrace with that attire.
Eloy shakes her head.
But is that not the point of a storm, to be seen and to be heard?
I don't think if you're running from machines that you want them to hear you. At least not the hunts that I've been on. I could be wrong.
Even machines fear the storm.
Tues, is your head still hurting? You're acting odd.
Nope. Everything is fine. Everything is all right.
Oh. Okay. I don't really want to walk near Crona.
Look, he's an odd one, but I may owe him a favor, so he's okay.
He's going to get a scene. We're going to be attacked.
I mean...
Is there something we should be concerned with? Apart from the Watchers?
Well, there was those other people down there, remember?
Yes, but they were dead. Unless you are implying that dead men can walk. In which case, they cannot.
Well, I'm implying that there might have been more of them.
Yes. More dead ones.
Eloy, there were people down there that I've never seen before. I think they came into the embrace unannounced.
We stole their focus.
Well, that marks their age. I'm sorry, Feyre. I hate to tell you this, but those were actually the old ones. Dead, long buried, forgotten. All that's left for us is this. She points to her focus.
Oh, that reminds me. And he takes the second one off and hands it to Crona. We have extras.
Oh, many thanks. A gift. I forgot to bring my own gift, but... And, like, shuffles through his, the pockets in his poncho and pulls out, like, I don't know, a bird egg.
I love it.
It is actually a rare bird from the Utaru tribes.
I will eat it. Thank you very much.
Ooh, do not eat it. That would be bad luck. But do tell of these old ones you found. You see, I was sleeping while all this was happening.
Oh, they were very dead.
Very dead.
Yes. That's it. We walked down. They were very dead. We took their focus. Found another one. Also very dead. We took their focus. And then again and again, several times over. And then I wore 2, and it had no effect.
Eloy looks between Tejak and Teas, and she says, well, I can see that the 2 of you have placed yours on. What did you see?
Wore 2.
I see that. And I've heard you tell me that, especially when you were down in the hole. I think we've covered that 2 aren't going to work for you right now, Tejak. I mean, you're welcome to continue to try, though.
I will.
When I put it on the first time, it was rougher. Everything went all weird. There was a voice. It was unpleasant. Now it's better.
So you saw the interface then. That's what we'll call it.
I saw everything light up. It was like stars, but on the ground, connected.
When you heard a voice, what did it say?
Just talking about doing something for someone. For posterity. Fellow really liked the word posterity.
I remember that recording. That's what that is. It's called a recording. Sometimes they're voices. Sometimes you can see images of people and voices. And sometimes those images move. And you can see... It's as if somebody is telling us a story, but they're acting it out. And yet they're not really there. The word recording is what I was told that they're called. Occasionally, you find something that actually is just something you read. Can you read, Teus?
I can read.
And she looks to the rest of you. Can the rest of you actually read?
I too can read.
I cannot read.
Is this a mechanical thing or?
This is just her asking you narratively.
Oh, yeah, I cannot read the traditional words, though. I can speak many tongues. I have not learned the art of the Karja written word.
The written word is older than Karja, she says. And she looks to Feyre, and you see her face soften, and she says, I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you to put one of these on if you want to continue. But I learned to read using mine when I was a little girl. My Rost, the outcast who raised me, thought it strange, but when he saw its benefits, he couldn't but grant me this tool. I learned to read. I learned to do other things, some of which I'm going to teach you. And she looks really uncomfortable, Feyre, as she's looking at you, and she says, it means breaking tradition. You are given permission by the matriarchs, but ultimately it is your decision.
And you're telling me that working with this machine is going to have benefits. What negatives am I going to experience?
Each of you note that her face gets incredibly sort of clouded in respect to its expression, and her eyes get distant. And Teus, you recognize the face of a warrior, a veteran, and you see the dark sort of, foreboding of the, her experiencing memories of the past, some internal conflict. And the moment passes and she says, knowledge, understanding. That is the price that you pay for the wonderful things that it grants you, is the understanding. I'm truly sorry, she says, as she sort of stumbles over her voice, and she turns away from all of you and just kind of looks off in the distance for a second. She says, I can't take back anything that you learn with this. I can't grant you peace once you follow this path, but I need your help. And she turns back to you all. We all need your help.
Last we spoke, you were very light on the details.
At that, she again gets uncomfortable, and you see her head sort of, nod to the side, and you can again see that their eyes grow a little distant. I can't give you all of the details, because if I do, you won't believe me. I didn't believe it. I didn't understand, and I had help. Some of that help is gone. There was a man, I believe he was a Banuk shaman at one time. He helped me. He helped us. He helped save the world. He helped beat the eclipse. But his own crimes. They were bent on this understanding as well. This knowledge corrupts. My journey gave me this knowledge and understanding, and it helped shape me to know what the right choices were. I can only do this for you in the same way. in the hopes that it does not corrupt you as it has corrupted some others. I need you to trust me, Tejak. I promise the knowledge will come. Because once you all are competent enough, you're going to need to pass this on and train others to come after you.
Eloy, you're asking me to break every tradition that I've ever learned, become essentially an outcast if I work with these machines. And you're promising that it's going to help us? You're asking me to change essentially who I am.
High Matriarchs would not have sent you to me had they not thought you worthy of this task. Tirsa and I have spent many an hour talking late into the nights. We have watched the sun rise after much discussion. She feels, as I do, as does the Sun King of Vod, that some of our traditions need to be broken in order for the Nora, and she looks around to the rest of you, it's for the rest of the tribes to survive. And she refers to the Nora deity, Allmother, and she says, Allmother has granted us an opportunity. And while she may not feel, you may not feel her active influence day to day, she has granted me great purpose to walk in her stead. And what she's telling you, Feyre, almost seems like blasphemy for a little bit, except for the fact that you're speaking to the Seeker. You're speaking to the hero of the attack of the Eclipse, who use man and machine to decimate, the Embrace, the sacred lands of the Nora, and other, locations, that are known peripherally to you. And it really does sound like blasphemy, but when you look in her face, there is this sort of strong sentiment of that you can trust her in what she's saying.
I'll wear one.
Feyre, may I call you Feyre?
Yes, you can call me Feyre.
Feyre, think of it this way, that you are making a choice to move forward and a choice to break tradition, as opposed to a choice that was robbed of the Utaru tribe when the Karja slew them all. You see, tradition changes, and I have forged a new tradition, and so perhaps this is your chance to do it so as well.
I maybe am not the best person to follow up, but I can say this. I am someone who understands that sometimes tradition needs to be set aside, especially if these traditions might lead your tribe to ruin. Don't be a fool.
I agree. I need to do what's best for the tribe, and if this is what's best, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, Pharaoh would probably pick up that when Taz is like saying these things, he's not talking about her, right? Like it's all very self-projecting, right? Yeah.
This may be a little bit off topic, but do you two know each other?
No. This is the first time I've seen the man.
Absolutely not. Don't know who he is.
But I've often heard Akarja say that all Utaru look the same.
I'm not going to apologize for my past. We'd be here all day.
Huh. Okay. Well, I already put it on. 2. Where next?
So do Feyre and Crona put on a focus?
Mm-hmm. Hesitantly, yes.
Yeah, I think Crona makes some kind of comment of the way you describe these visions. They sound much like storm dreams. I fear if all of us are storm dreaming, then I will be out of a job.
What does that mean?
So, wait a minute. Is Crona trying to out mysticism Tejak? It's interesting. Sam, why aren't you playing another mystical character? There's now 3 of you potentially in this game. All right, so
Look,
as Feyre, exactly, as Feyre puts the focus on, nothing happens at first. But you, as you're kind of like looking around and just trying to take in sort of the effect that it's going to have on you, you look back around and look down towards the sinkhole, and you see the faint glow of blue and purple. And you see one of the icons, sort of the iconic interfaces that in the distance that Tues and Tejak saw. And at first, it sort of takes your breath away because it feels to you like magic. And for Crona, kind of takes in and sees the same thing. And I'll let you kind of narrate, because the Utaru are a little bit sort of vague, and we're kind of world building as we go along with the Utaru here. But as you kind of take it in, there is a sense of awe and wonder about being able to see those glows as well. And as the both of you are kind of looking at, you're looking there and you're looking around at the others around Eloy's right ear, Tues's and Tejak's and Crona's for Feyre, you see that the circular halo kind of thing that's like hanging just like a half an inch away from their ear is there. Actually, I've got a screenshot that I prepped up for you guys. Let me go ahead and bring that onto the screen, and you can see generally what I was looking at. This was the dead body, one of the dead bodies that you might have encountered in the ruins, and that's what the actual interface kind of looks like on the game table. And so as the 4 of you begin to adjust, Eloy kind of assesses each of you and says, so the reason we're doing this, the reason that we have these focus tools to put onto our head, I'm going to start showing you some of it, but a lot of it is going to be discovery. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. I don't have the time to completely train you or teach you the things that you're going to need to know. But there are even things that I don't know. The Banuk shaman I referred to, he was capable of doing things that I can't even begin to imagine. I've only begun to learn. I need your help in rediscovering those things. There are ways, for example, that these devices can communicate with each other, and we can communicate across vast distances. Most often, that was how I saw him. Sometimes he could send me information, pieces of text, video or recordings of scenes. Sometimes he could see through my eyes by using this device. These are things that I don't understand. These are things that we need to figure out. These are crucial pieces of information for the world. She looks to Tejak and she says, as a Banuk shaman, you have interesting understandings of machines that even the Oseram do not. You don't make weapons and take parts from the machines. You work with the machines. I'm going to rely on you to help guide us.
Most people do.
She says, she smiles at that and she says, okay, let's find us another herd and we'll begin. And she begins to move off towards, down towards the stream that's flowing at the center of the embrace. And so as you're following her, you're really just kind of not seeing much difference in the world. The focus attached to your heads aren't, you're not getting active, information. There's not anything else. You're not seeing the active element of it all. You're just, there. But she moves on towards a group of striders, flanked by some watchers who appear to be sort of in a pattern of patrolling. This looks very familiar to all of you. Very much the same kind of thing that you would see striders doing sort of on the wild. As you crouch down into the grass, the high grass, where Eloy is sort of like perched herself above, on a small rise above where this herd is, she says, I want you to think to engage the interface. And when you do, she points to one of the striders who is off alone. She says, I want you to look at this one and I want you to focus on it. No pun intended. And so as you do, the interface sort of lights up and you see that sort of geodesic sort of, display of information, kind of pop there for just a second as you're kind of taking it all in. And as you're doing this, you begin to focus on the strider. Now, the strider is this creature here, to remind you all. It's a four-legged creature that looks vaguely like the cross between a horse and a cow. It grazes like a horse. It moves, sort of gingerly like a cow, unless it's, sort of aggravated. But as you begin to focus on it, some additional details begin to pop up. And this is what you see. Let me see if I can get you guys there really quickly. Hold on a second. We're going to switch two different screens at a time, guys. Hold on just a second. This is what you guys see. The information pops up, and there is this sort of panel that appears out of nowhere on the right-hand side of your vision. And over it, you see a bunch of information. For Feyre and Crona, you can't actually read the text, but you get some semblance of information about the strider, because you can see the general shape of the strider as a part of the iconography. For Tejak and for Teus, you get a bunch of additional information. You see that there are components listed in an array. You get some more information about the machine itself as it talks about the body, and there's some iconography on the screen. And then there's an interesting option at the bottom that says tag target. And she says, do you see it? Do you see the additional information that it provides?
It's certainly something. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't really need this thing to tell me that the machines were hostile to me. But,
Right. Do you see that yellowish glow on the back?
Yes.
Yes. Your family's techniques. What does your techniques tell you about that?
That's where I would start if I wanted to break the thing to pieces.
Right. I'm sure there are some machines that you have never fought.
There are, but when you've been doing this as long as I have, it only takes watching them move a little while, then I can figure it out. I mean, there's a little bit of trial and error. That's why you get the scars.
What if you never got another scar again?
It's too late for me to be pretty, but I suppose it'd be better than nothing.
Should we be standing so closely to it?
hidden here in the grass, we're fine. Trust me, they're not very perceptive, and even the watchers are a little, easy to trick.
Although you should be extra quiet. You have bells.
So what you're implying sounds like these things will continue to tell us where to break when it comes to catching demons.
Every time you see a new machine, that information will be available to you. When you play with the focus and you delve into its interface, that information will be available to you even when you're not looking at a machine. There are whole stories and tales. I believe the Karja have books. There are books of information found inside of this little device. But it starts with these machines and what it can tell us. And as you look away from the machine, each of you kind of get distracted by something and you look away. The panel that's displayed with all of the contextual information kind of disappears, and the thing that says tag target at the bottom just disappears completely. But as you're looking away, still visually you can actually see the outline of the Strider. And its glow of the blue glow with the yellow sort of element that's on its back lasts there for about 5 more seconds, and then it slowly fades from your vision. And if you look away, she says, you'll still have some semblance of information about it. You'll still be able to see it in your peripheral vision for a short period of time. She says, I want you to now look at the watcher, and she points to one of the watchers. I want you to follow it. And as you do that, you see the following. Information, of course, pops up about the watcher. You see all the details about it. You see some sort of indication of different components of it. There's an additional element that pops up at the bottom, and it says highlight track. And she encourages each of you to enable that. And you're not sure how to do that, but she says, just think about it. And to Feyre and Crona, she says, it's the top one. Just think top one. And as the both of you do that, all of a sudden what you see is a weird set of arrows flashing and moving in a direction. And as you're kind of able to take it in, you kind of move your head around, you're able to see that there is a faint line of arrows that can be tracked and moved around. And you can see that this watcher here has a path that walks it around that boulder right there and then brings it back around to you. And as it's doing that, as you can see, you can watch the watcher actually begin to follow that track as well. And as it comes to a certain point, it stops, going from sort of a lengthy position as its neck is forward and its tail is back. It pops up and it looks around, and you can see that it's sort of assessing the situation. And as you do, you can see the eye component on it is actually lit up, again indicating that this is a vulnerable spot. And she says, that information we've had for generations. We've been hunting watchers for generations. When I encountered some machines in the Jewel, or when I went to the Cut, I wouldn't have survived had I not had this. I had no other hunters, no other braves, no other soldiers with me. It's not the things that I can train you to do. It's the things that you're going to learn without me even being there, without anybody else being there, that's going to help you.
Eloy, is there ever machines that aren't part of the focus?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Like machine animals that the focus doesn't know what they are or what their weaknesses are?
I've not encountered one. No, I've not encountered one. This is an important piece that I need you to understand. We did not understand the machines until we hunted them and we fought them. But the machines themselves were actually created by the old ones. They knew about them. They had an understanding. They knew how to disassemble them and reassemble them. This is their world. We've just been reborn in it.
This device, this focus, as you say, is powered by the same blue light as the machines. And thus it sings with the machine song. They are one and the same.
In the Banuk tradition, I would agree with you. But that blue light that you know of, that comes from the old ones.
Its source doesn't change its meaning.
I agree with you there. I caution you to know that even the Banuk are going to have trouble with the information that you're going to learn.
The hunters and shaman are at odds currently. They're having a hard enough time on their own.
You're right. Hopefully you can help them. And as the four of you are kind of like, watching, the situation and kind of looking around, and Tejak, as you're kind of interacting with her, you notice that the watcher that you've all been focusing on begins to move behind a rock, the rock that was in that previous sort of scene that you're looking at right there. And you notice something really interesting. You can still see the information and the outline of the shape as it passes behind the rock. And she says, there are going to be places where you're not going to be able to move by force. Taking down a machine will not be an option. When you encounter a snap maw or a thunder jaw, sometimes it is better to hide or to run than to fight. This tool will help you do that and more. And of course, as you're watching, the walker begins to kind of move out from behind the rock. And again, you can just see the outline of it kind of there, just moving on.
Does the light make us more visible to them?
No, not in my experience. They're unaware. As long as you take caution and you move with purpose, you can almost certainly survive without having to engage any machine unless you choose to.
Of course, that means you're probably going to have to get rid of your bell poncho.
And at that, she Eloy just kind of smirks and kind of covers her face.
Why do you wear the bells?
It is an important tradition among my people.
Oh.
I'm a storm speaker. I must be heard when I speak.
Do the storm speakers hunt?
Oh, heavens, no. But they predict the storms. They predict the rains. My people are not hunters. They are gatherers and planters.
Oh. Do your people encounter the machines?
We steer clear of them.
Do you know why you steer clear of them?
Because they're very dangerous.
Yes. That's why we're quiet.
Yes, but now we have the ability to predict where they're going.
Yes, but if you shout, they will still charge you.
But
Or
imagine
jingle.
what profits could be made to predict the routes of such animals.
All the
This
heads.
information could be sold for.
At the word of profit, Eloy kind of looks and says, that is not yours to do. You came to me looking for help. You came to me asking to help me. You wanted to help set the world right. Isn't that why you came running to me when I was in Meridian?
It is. Forgive me, Eloy. Old habits die hard. You must remember I was an orphan on the streets of Meridian for many years.
I understand the desire for shards. I understand the need sometimes to be able to pay more than your fair share for material goods. I understand that in Meridian, there's an opportunity to be a rich man. But that's not why you came to me.
Oh, no, I spoke hypothetically. Imagine another outside of us, what profits they could reap with such a knowledge.
She looks at you skeptically. And she just kind of shakes her head. And she says, now, if you want, you are welcome to engage these machines to test out your skills. But I already have another task for you, so if you would prefer, we can just move on to that.
Crona, we have fought a herd of watchers. Would you like to take this one?
I will let you have the honor of that.
Tues? No? Okay. Freya? All three?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Then we will watch. And he crosses his arms over his cables.
Really? Let him get away with that?
You can handle all three, yes?
No.
Oh.
I'll help.
I think maybe you should get one. And Tues will get the other.
Fine. And he unslings the bow and like it snaps out into its full length again out from his giant hat. And I'll take the one on the left. And he begins to knock an arrow from, I don't know, his hat, I guess.
And,
Pull out his hair.
let me try to get into position first. I want to try to like climb up one of these little rocks so that I can jump down and get on top of one like I did last time.
Okay.
Wait, friends. I have something of information that you might need to know. It is a tale among the Utaru tribe of Astrid the Brave, who once slew many of these great beasts. You see, the trick that she used, and Crona just goes on for, I think, 10 minutes. I feel like this ability is. I'm using an ability in case you guys are wondering. I'm not just telling a random story, but
That's fine if you are.
I'm using.
It would be great if you did.
Just went on for 10 minutes, and you guys all just listened to me make up a story about Astrid the Brave. I'm using anecdote, which is for the next hour. Those who pay attention to your story are trained in a task that you choose. That's related to the anecdote, as long as it's not an attack or a defense action. Oh, it's 1 minute, so it's a short story actually. But it is a story about Astrid the Brave's ability to not be seen or heard in the tall grasses of the Utaru. And so this anecdote is giving you guys an asset to sneaking.
Cool.
Interesting. On top of that, the watcher that Tues has chosen still has his track illuminated. So the difficulty for sneaking up on this thing, and you're going to get a surprise round before we actually roll initiative. The difficulty in sneaking has been reduced already because of that. So it's a level 3 difficulty. It's, the difficulty is 3. It's reduced by 2, and it sounds like with Crona's story, it's reduced to 1. Is that what I'm hearing?
Nice.
Okay, so we're gonna have you roll first.
So am I rolling to
sneak up on this thing?
Sneak up. Okay, so I'm gonna try to climb up, if possible. So I'm using the climbing. I won't spend effort.
Jesus.
That'll
of course you're going to make it with a 12.
That'll do it.
All right. So you are poised and in position, and then you'll get to describe your attack and roll your damage. All right. What about the Feyre and Tajak? How are you two approaching the other two?
Tajak has a bow, so he's not. He just sort of steps behind. He takes one step back and plants the bow in the ground and then begins to pull the string back.
And I'm going to throw a spear at it, so I'll kind of maybe move a little bit in the grass
Okay.
to get a good vantage point.
And I'm going to hide behind a tree.
Eloy just kind of steps back, kind of takes in the situation as she's just kind of looking at it, and she gets mildly amused as Crona steps behind the tree. And we're going to start with Feyre.
And don't forget about Astrid the Brave.
We're going to start with Feyre, letting her make her attack first.
So what would I use?
You've got to.
I'm sorry.
I think we talked about this, and it was going to be your might, right?
Okay. Yeah, and then it would be difficulty 1.
I think
it would be difficulty 2. So because of the benefit of what Crona gave to you, it's going to the difficulty for the level of the watchers. So they're level 3. Mm-hmm. So that would be their difficulty. His ability his ability reduces it to 2 for you.
Okay.
So Crona's ability only reduces sneaking.
Oh, I thought it was, but this is a surprise attack. So
yeah, it doesn't work on attacks, unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah, it's any skill besides attack and defense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Then it's gonna be level 3.
Oh, but you're using a spear, right?
Yep, I'm using the spear.
Okay.
And it looks
sure for
rolling
melee.
Nat 20.
Yeah, it doesn't matter this time, but for melee, you can use speed or might. It specifically calls that out in the book.
Yep.
So yeah, just for the future.
Okay, so you pull back and you throw your spear, and it goes sailing through the air and just lands right into the eye of this thing. Now you can either take the +4 damage. I believe the damage for the spear is 3. Is it 4?
It's 4.
Okay.
It's a medium weapon.
4.
All right, so you can take that, or you can declare a major effect here, because the damage that you're already doing with your spear is going to take the watcher out because of where you hit it.
Oh man, so I'll take a major effect then.
Okay.
Which do I come up with that, or do you?
Either or. You should come up with it if you can.
And what is? I'm so sorry. What is a major effect? Is
whatever you want. That's the benefit of it. That's the fun part about this system, right? So like a major or a minor effect. So like a minor effect, right, would be like you destroy this thing so much so that one of the other watchers kind of turns away, and that gives someone an asset to be better at hitting this thing. Or like a major effect would be like you explode it. Or it could do any number of things, whatever your imagination can come up with.
Yeah. It's like you shoot the car and you do enough damage to get rid of the car, so you do the major effect to hit the gas tank and cause it to explode instead of
okay, cool.
off the road. You know.
So the major effect, can I hit it and it roll into another one?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do, and like take out the legs of another one.
Nice.
All right. So as the spear kind of comes in and just lands right in its eye, it shorts it out in such a way so that it begins to automatically start to run. Like it just starts to move, but it can't hold its balance because its eye is damaged, and it's unable to see, and it's just sort of almost working on autopilot. So it just kind of begins to kind of stumble upon itself and begins to roll, and your spear just gets dislodged and kind of rolls free. But as this thing continues, it rolls right into the one that Tejak is actually kind of aiming for, and it sort of knocks the thing over and just forces it to kind of land just on its side, and so it's knocked prone. Tejak, I just remembered something, guys. I'm really sorry, I should have described this to you. When the effect is in place for the focuses, when you are looking at it, there is going to be a reduction in difficulty, and it's on the actual page itself. So that actually should have been a difficulty 2. Regardless, you were successful in doing it, and that was an amazing crit. So good job on that. But just so you know, while that effect is in place, you guys are going to be able to actually reduce your difficulty by 1 because you're going to see those vulnerabilities.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Cool.
I'm sorry, I forgot to illustrate that as an effect, and I apologize, Kai, for not making sure that was a part of your role, but you did amazing anyway. So
no worries. I guess these focus are worth it then.
All right.
Who's next?
I think it's me. I think I'm gonna haul back and fire that arrow at that one that's prone, right?
Right. So it's knocked prone, and where its vulnerable spots are.
Okay, so it's a difficulty 2?
Difficulty 1, because it's prone.
Oh, sure. Cool. Watch me miss. Yep, I nat 1. That's a free GM intrusion.
It is. It's really interesting.
Is it?
That's really horrible.
Is it interesting? Go on.
It's totally interesting because the arrow just kind of it shoots out towards the watcher, and it kind of starts to shimmy and shake and roll itself out of the way just in time, and kind of looks around, kind of assesses the situation, and you see that the eye immediately focuses on Tejak, and it starts to lean down and looking ready to charge. As we cut over to Teus.
Now, the one that I'm poised to attack, that's not the one getting ready to charge, correct?
Oh, no. That's the one you're standing on top of the rock for.
Oh, that is the one that's going to charge.
No. There's another one that's kind of patrolling around the rock that you're able to get on top of.
Is the one that's going to charge just way too far away for me to get to?
Yeah, you've perfectly positioned yourself in a way to get the third one.
Sure. All right. Well, I'll take care of what I was finish the meal on my plate before I go in for seconds. Let's see here. Yeah. Well, I'll describe it afterwards, so I don't describe something cool if I roll a natural 1 again, like Mike there. Now, so it'll be difficulty 2. For effort, that's spending the edge points, right? Not just spending my might pool? Or
no. So edge reduces the number of pool you need to spend. To spend
reduce your difficulty.
Yeah, to spend effort, you need to reduce your pool. It's 3 for the first one and then 2 for everyone after, right? So if you want to reduce your roll by 1, you would need to spend 3 might. If you have 1 edge in might, you would only need to spend 2.
Okay. I will hold off on spending effort for now.
Yeah, every 1 effort is 3 pool.
Oh boy.
You didn't roll a 1 though.
Yeah, so I guess what happens is Taz leaps down and starts grappling at the eye. He's digging his hands in to try to get a grip and start disconnecting the things that hold it together so he can dislodge the eye here.
Sorry, I was paying attention to Discord chat, or not a Discord, Zoom chat. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, he jumps down and he's like kind of hanging off on top of this this watcher, and he's kind of digging his hands in around the connection with the eye, and he isn't like quite able to get it, but he's like working on like trying to like disconnect some of that.
Okay, so as you're kind of digging in, you're just kind of you're starting to get you're kind of basically you've kind of in like a saddle position on its back as your fingers are kind of digging in as this thing is trying to shake you, and you can feel it sort of beginning to buck. And at that point, I'm going to have you guys roll initiative.
Cool, let's do it. Initiative is also against just the difficulty of the monster.
Yes, difficulty 3.
Does it get lowered by the thingies?
That's a fair question. This particular element of the focus's ability is actually derived from the I believe it's the Nano's scan ability. Does anybody have an idea? You guys that played Numenera have an idea as to whether that scan ability would affect like an initiative roll?
I feel like it doesn't.
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, you spend an action to like study something, and then you get an asset on the next roll against it. I can look it up real quick though.
Yeah, if you could look that up, I would love that. But we're just going to go ahead and roll with that. For this particular round of initiative, just go ahead and it's not going to have an effect at all for the focus. Oh wow, okay.
Is initiative with speed?
There should be an initiative button in your skills. Should be the first one.
Got it. Boom! Success.
Nice. How is it a success if your difficulty is 3 and you rolled a 2?
Because he's trained. Because he's trained in initiative.
Oh wait.
Okay, that's right.
Am I trained in initiative? I think I may have goofed that up. Am I supposed to be trained? I think I may have just changed that on accident and it wasn't.
Then you failed.
Yeah, then you're failed. So, okay. All right, so 3 below the 2 watchers, and then Tejak goes first before the watchers. So, Tejak, your arrow just kind of, sang out and just missed as the watcher kind of rolled and kind of, righted itself and is kind of moving its head down and kind of angling towards you, ready for the attack. What are you doing?
Yeah, I just sort of double down and I pull another arrow out and I fire that towards this thing and see if I can actually hit it this time. Because that's my life.
Okay, go for it.
It's my damn life. This is difficulty 2?
Difficulty 2, that is correct.
Okay. Nope.
All right. So this thing angles, and just as you fire the arrow, it kind of jukes to the side and then makes its way, beginning to take its run at you. And its run is just, aggressive as hell as it just kind of bolts in and it's charging you. And I'm going to need you to make some sort of defensive roll, because its attack is coming in and it's just like it at the last second jumps and both its feet are kind of coming down to kind of claw you.
Okay. So I question the focus. Does that work for, what does that work for? Just attacks?
Yes, it just works for attacks.
Okay, cool. So this is a difficulty 3 defense. I'm going to try to dodge it with speed. And does my training in sensing danger help me in this at all? To try to imitate its own juke?
If you can, if you're going to imitate its own juke.
Yeah, basically it's running at me, right? It's running a straight line at me, and I'm going to wait, and at the last second, I'm going to, jump out of the way and predict its path, more or less.
Definitely, do it.
Cool. So I'm going to use sense danger there, and that will make it from a 2 to a 1. Or from a 3 to a 2. Ka-chow! I succeed.
All right, so at the last second, it just kind of comes running and sort of jumps and lands. And as you kind of juke to the side and you kind of do a roll, and now this thing is just kind of landing, kind of trying to figure out the situation and kind of looking at you. Ironically, very close to Crona.
Perfect.
as we we cut to, let's see, next up we have, let's see, okay, there was it's between Farah and Crona, so let's go with Farah first. Farah, what are you doing? You see that the one that you've taken out is gone, and there's another one that's kind of run and charged towards Tejak at the last second, and then there's this other one that Tejas is sort of riding.
I'm going to throw a spear at the one that is charging towards Crona at this point, or is it still charging towards Tejak?
It's near Crona. It's next to Tejak, but it's also near Crona, and it's kind of shaking its head, it's trying to figure out where its query or where its target is. It's trying to reassess the situation. So
yeah, so that's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
And then I'll roll might at 3. No, 2.
2. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. So can you describe to me what it's like when you throw your spear and you basically take this thing out?
Yeah. So I kind of just want to turn quickly, throw it, and it kind of look very naturally throwing it, and then knock it off the path of the trajectory of Tejak, and kind of knock it so it's not straight into him.
Okay, so the watcher kind of moves and reassesses the situation, notices where Tejak has kind of moved to, begins to move in a motion to lurch, and that's when your spear just kind of pierces it right in the eye, and it immediately just kind of crumples to the ground. And we're going to cut to Tejas, who just is kind of riding this, and you see a little bit of action. You kind of look over, and you see the spear kind of go flying through the air, basically saving Tejak's life.
Yeah, I see that I'm not pulling my weight in this round, this combat, and we see Tejas is muscles clench as he tries to rip this thing's eye out of its skull. Well, let's see how it does.
Sure.
This time I'm going to spend effort just because I'm curious how it works. All right, so since my might edge is 1, I can spend 2.
That's correct.
Yeah, so you have 1 effort, right? At tier 1, you have 1 effort. So you would normally spend 3 might, but that is reduced by 1 because of your edge. So you reduce your might pool by 2, and then on the roll, it should pop up and say how much effort do you want to spend, and you just check the 1 box.
1.
Yep.
Cool. Right.
Also, just be aware that because of the attack that you're doing, you're already reducing it by 1 because the focus is already engaged. So you can spend the effort and reduce it to basically to 1. So
yeah, I want to succeed.
Okay.
Is the situation, and I have 17 might, so it's I feel like I'm supposed to be spending this pool of might because all of my abilities are bumping that. Cool.
All right, describe to us what it looks like when you rip up this thing's eye.
So I think this thing's bucking and throwing Tejas around, and as the spear lands and the second watcher goes down, he finally finds the piece that he's reaching for. I imagine the motion is a little bit as though he's trying to trip the lock on a car, right? He's trying to jimmy in there with his hands, and he finds it and clicks it out, and then you just hear this screeching popping noise as it sparks, and he just rips the eye free of the socket, and the thing just goes crashing down.
And as it goes crashing down, you hear Eloy just sort of in the distance clapping. And she says, I feel like I'm watching a bunch of new proving ground braves finding their way in the world. It's so interesting to watch you all hunt, but it seems like the focus has given each of you an opportunity to do the right thing. And then she kind of looks back at Crona and she says, except for him.
I was helping, didn't you see?
That was a beautiful story you told. And she kind of shakes her head.
It was a pivotal story to be told.
She shakes her head, and Eloy looks to J-Jack and says, "Is it time to perform your rituals?"
Always. And he stands up from his weird crouchy position and begins walking over to, well, I guess he walks to the closest one, right? The one between him and Crona. And you see him squat down, all of his cables kind of unfurl, and you would hear him lowly muttering as he is, you hear like snapping and clinking as he is taking apart pieces of the Watcher. Go ahead.
Feyre, with kind of the success of having the focus, is a little more interested in the machines and everything around her with the machines. So I'm going to nonchalantly attempt to kind of see what he's doing, but try not to look like I'm that interested.
I think while they're over by salvaging the machines, Taz is gonna kind of circumspectly wander up so that he's standing next to Crona. Go ahead, sorry.
So no, it's perfectly fine. As Feyre is kind of looking at this, looking at what's going on, the focus is kind of giving you little bits of information that you can't really interpret and understand yet because you can't read, but you can see that some of the components that T-Jack is kind of removing from the machine are labeled, and there's definitely additional bits of information there for you when you're capable of actually reading. But as that's going on, we cut over to Tues.
Yeah, he's gonna look over to Crona, and Tues isn't a particularly tall guy, right? He's just big and broad. So he looks over and he's just look, I'm not gonna say anything. We both know it's none of my business, but you shouldn't be trying to con these people. That's all I'll say.
Tues, may I call you Tues?
That's my name.
I am not conning anyone. I think you have me confused with someone else.
I'm sure I do. He'll just walk away.
And so as T-Jack, commits his ritual for the 3 downed machines, Eloy kind of looks at you all and says, all right, I have one last thing to show you, and then I need to send you on your task while I attend to some other business. And she says, back into the grass, and she points to the grass. And as the 4 of you begin to kind of settle in, she takes her spear. And for the 4 of you looking at the focus, there's something really interesting about her spear. It glows with this sort of weird iridescent blue that looks very much like what you see in the interfaces, but also vaguely looks like the wires, the cables that the Banuk sort of wrap into their skin. And so as she's moving forward slowly with it, it seems like she activates something. And there is an additional sort of halo that appears on a little piece of machinery that is attached to the spear. And you see it, it looks like the same type of halo that hovers around your ear when you look at, anybody else who's wearing a focus. And as she makes her way moving forward, she's slowly creeping up on a strider off in the distance. And as she does that, it kind of looks to the side, kind of almost like it would if it was a normal animal, just kind of, sniffing the air, looking for danger, but doesn't react. And her slow, casual creep up to it, very stealthy. And she gets very close to the side, and then she points her spear towards it. And as she does, there is this weird sort of blue halo that appears between the end of her spear and the edge of the machine. and it is a large sort of, halo as it begins to, kind of turn, and it goes initially from what looks to be like a red to a complete sort of a blue circle. And when she does, and pulls her spear back after it's complete, the machine just kind of stands up straight, kind of looks around a little bit, and turns towards her and almost bobs its head towards her as if it's nuzzling her. And she pets it for just a second, pats it on its side, and turns, and it follows her towards the four of you. And she says, this is the next step. This is what you need to learn how to do. I don't quite know how I'm capable of doing it, but I know the Banuk shaman that I speak of. He improved on it and was able to show me some things too. And she kind of looks back and she pats the strider on its head. I refer to them collectively as Aragorn. Each of them that I take over in the wild, they'll carry me at great distances. They'll allow me to ride them. It's been helpful crossing the Jewel and the Embrace. And while many of the tribes do not appreciate my ability to be able to do this, they have saved my lives on more than an occasion. And then she grabs her spear, off of her back again and kind of like stands it up in front of you. And you can see the blue sort of glow dancing across. And you can see where the small blue halo is kind of orbiting around the component that is on the spear. And she says this, and she points to that blue halo. And immediately, Feyre, you recognize the component that she's pointing to. This comes from another one of the machines. Hopefully most of them are dead now, but this component can be found on their carcasses. You need to find some of these, and I will teach you how to use them. With this, and a little bit of legwork and some delving into places of the old ones that are not quite ruins, you will be able to do exactly what I've just done. Now, I don't know what the old ones called this, but I heard the Banuk shaman refer to it as an override. Name it what you will. It's one of the other tools that I have to survive in the wild. And she kind of looks at the four of you, and you're all still kind of like marveling and looking at the strider as it stands next to her. And she says, if you look around the valley, you can see the destruction that the eclipse affected on this place. You can see the destroyed trees. You can see the burnt and scorched lands. And you can see the piles of rubble and machines that didn't survive the attack. I am going to point you in the direction of one such rubble, and I need you to explore and find one of these components or more if you can. I believe there are a couple of machines there that have them. But these machines are different than what you've ever known before. Unlike the machines that are silver and blue, these are black, are gigantic. They have 4 legs. They're as if a spider. But they also have very long, sort of scary tails. And I say that because, and she points to the gigantic metal devil that adorns one peak. The tails look very much like one of the legs of that machine. And now I need you to go to a rubble site, and I need you to try to acquire at least one of these, if not more. And she points in the direction towards the valley side, towards the east, towards the valley side. She says, this is just north of where the gate is. I realize it's been a long day, but I need you to do this one last task. I need you to head there and find yourselves one or more of these, and I will show you how to use them. I myself, I have to journey to the gate itself. I need to check in with Sona, the Nora war chief. There's bad tidings of a bandit camp just outside of the sacred lands, and that could mean new raiding on the Embrace. Meet me at the gate to the Embrace when you are done, and we'll move on to the next task. And she kind of assesses the four of you, and she says, any questions?
This seems fairly straightforward.
Straightforward is never... It's not... No. You'll understand when you get there.
Descend into ruins, get focus. Descend into ruins, get override.
This is not a ruins that I'm sending you to. It's a battlefield.
I'm plenty familiar with battlefields. Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy, but it is simple enough. We'll be able to handle it.
We will do this, Eloy. I swear it in the name of the storm.
My name is Eloy.
Sorry.
Is it?
That's what I said.
I'm just curious. Is it any storm in particular, or just any storm at all?
All storms are the storm.
Oh.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. It took me many years to.
I just love how he has he has a veil of fibers, so he just has no expressions at all. It's just like a voice coming out of a hat. Which is awesome.
And she looks again at the four of you and she says, if nothing else, and then she immediately turns towards the Strider, grabs onto a side of the neck, swings herself onto the back, gripping wires, cables that are attached to the necks. And she says, I'll see you at the gate. And turns the Strider, and it gallops off, carrying her on its back very quickly towards the entrance into which you all came into the Embrace.
You would think if she was in such a hurry, she would have given us each one, but I guess not. On foot, then. Or should we? We're near the Nora camp, right?
You're near one of the Nora settlements, yes.
Or should we first rest?
No
It
time
is-
like the present. Go ahead.
Well, it is the middle of the night.
That's what I was thinking.
We could rest till the morning.
So be it.
Rest, I just woke up.
That's what I was gonna say.
You see, I won my way in a gambling match aboard a Karja caravan, and well, made friends with the chef, and he prepared me quite a feast, and I fell asleep and woke here after you'd already completed your first task. So
Well,
Yes, well, while you were sleeping, we were hunting and finding these things. So
you say sleeping as if I was resting, but I was storm dreaming. I foresaw all that has happened so far and all that is yet to come. In my dreams.
So, in that case, how difficult will it be at the battlefield?
If I told you, it would ruin the surprise, would it not?
I mean, ultimately, I think it would, but I'd rather not have any surprises, especially if it is machines trying to kill me. But I understand. The machine song, the notes of the machine song hit everyone differently. To rest.
Do you actually hear music, or do you just call it the machine song?
I don't understand the difference.
Oh. Like, when we sing in celebration, does it sound like that?
Yes. Inside me.
Feyre, it's impolite to ask the magician to reveal his tricks.
Okay.
That is why we lace ourselves with these blue lights, so we can better attune ourselves to the machine song.
Oh, I didn't know they had a purpose.
It is. This light is what powers the machines, and in doing so, it powers us and allows us to communicate with them in a better way.
Do I see, like, anything weird about you then in my focus?
I don't know, Johnny. I don't think so.
No, you do not see anything weird at all.
Oh, okay.
It is pure mysticism and tomfoolery and bullshit that Jack is feeding you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Banuk belief, right? But it's essentially, they've just, like, it's the equivalent of, like, do piercings do anything for you in real life? No. They just, like, interwove, like, literal machine wiring into their skin because they're batshit insane. They just believe fully that it makes them closer to the machines. That's just their, like, pseudo-religion or whatever they want to call it. Their mystic belief. The shamans do it. They interweave the machine veins essentially into their bodies.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Wild. I love it. Yeah, I don't have anything to do other than rest. I recover. Do I have to roll even if we rest overnight? All right, but I can just. Can't you just roll infinite times if you have as much time to rest as you want, though?
So it's an action, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 10 hours, right? So you can roll all 4 of them, and then after you have like a long rest, you regain all of them back.
Well, I'll just roll the 10 minute. All right,
unless they changed it for Numenera 2, I think if you don't recover all your hit points, that's it. You don't recover them all on a long rest.
That's fine. I recovered with just the 1 roll, so we're all good.
Sweet deal. Yeah, so I guess we head back to the Nora thing.
Okay, so as you're making your way there, Feyre, of course, kind of guides you towards a number of different smaller sort of encampments, and there was a campfire and a place where you can kind of lay down and lay your bed, your bedroll kind of a thing. And as the 4 of you are beginning to settle in, one of the other Nora Braves that's sort of standing there or sitting there kind of resting is drinking a little bit and telling the tall tale of the fight when the Eclipse and the Corruptors and the corrupted machines kind of bowled over the valley, and he's telling a grand sort of tale, and then there's another one just kind of giving him a hard time for being completely full of shit. But as you are all kind of settling down, Tejak, you see a piece of text at the bottom of your focus kind of pop up. Mm-hmm. It says, "Are you alone?"
He sort of stands and addresses the group and says, "Excuse me, I must go do my prayers." And he slings his bag over his shoulder, which contains all the parts from the last, 6 Watchers we killed now. And he begins to like, he sounds like Crona as he slinks away holding his bag. And he goes through all the pomp and circumstance, right? Like he goes and finds like a quiet spot, and he undoes the bag, which folds out into like a blanket that was essentially tied at the corners. And he begins to piece all the things together in his squat, mushroom form. He reaches up and he takes the focus off and puts it in wherever he's hiding all these things. And he takes out his other focus and puts that on. And it blinks a few times. And he says, "I am alone now."
And as you do that, an image begins to appear in front of you, that of the shape of a man standing in front of you. Another Banuk shaman, in fact. And this is what you see. And he says, "Report. Have you made connection with Eloy yet?"
"I have. She has attached us to a Nora Brave, an Utaru, and a Karjan."
To what purpose?
She is very vague. She had us all retrieve focus, and now she has us trying to get overrides. What did you teach her?
Only what was necessary in order for her to help me defeat Hades.
She's taking that knowledge and doing something with it.
I imagine it's to some end that involves saving a bunch of people and sentiment. I don't really have time for any of this.
She wants to teach the secret of the focus to everyone.
I'm not surprised. She wants to probably right some wrongs. Anyways, where do you stand? Are you going to be able to keep them from gaining too much information?
They think me an idiot.
Clearly not. Well, what's your task next with?
We are to head to a battlefield and retrieve the overrides. At least one, if not more.
She's moving fast. She's probably going to set you on a path to Devil's Breath next. This isn't good. What do you think of her?
She seems smart. She seems to have purpose. She seems to have everyone's best interest in mind.
And your companions?
I think one is simple, one is a brute, and one fell into this role. I'm not sure that they'll all make it.
Okay. Well, continue as you need to. I'll await for your report. There are some things that I can show you so that you can interface with their focus and give me the information that I need.
Perfect.
Let's hope that you don't have to kill them.
I would hope so. The one tears machines apart with his hands.
I've heard about that. That's a Karja technique. It's not well taught. There might be something that we can use with that.
I mean, he seems fairly adept at it.
Interesting. All right. Well, you better get back to them. But you might be seeing me soon.
Let's hope so, Silence. Boop.
And that's where we're going to end it.
Nice. Yeah, so guys, that was the end of episode 2 of The Seekers. Dropping some secrets, getting our 4th player in there onto a mission, and throwing some loops for shit. So yeah, let's go around, get our introductions done here, and hear what your thoughts are on this session, and then we'll get the hell out of here. We'll start with our newest player, Keith. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to, my dude?
Yeah, Keith here. You can find me at Material Components on Twitch and at mcomponents on Twitter because of the character limit. And I run a stream on Twitch and also am doing an after-school program. We've been doing it for about 3 years here in Nashville, Tennessee, teaching kids tabletop role-playing games and positive morality, heroic morality, and whatnot in that, and building our own Powered by the Apocalypse system in order to do that more effectively than a lot of these games that are very battle driven. So we're awesome. Improving the world one kid at a time.
Awesome. Guys, Keith has been on the charity stream. Please go check out the Heroes Guild. That's super awesome. And you do like an IRL stream with like all kinds of cameras and like an actual physical playmat too, which is not something you'll often see on Twitch. So go check out the channel, go check out that awesome game. And he is probably one of the people that is as adamant about Numenera being played on the internet as I am. So definitely go check out his content. That being said, we'll jump over to Kai. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Kai. You can find me at stonefly_Kai on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram. I do art and play games. That's pretty much all I'm up to.
That's true. Go check out Kai's art. I think that's actually how I found you. I think you posted random dope like blue and yellow animals, and I was like, these are cool as shit. And then like weeks later, I was like, you play D&D, and that was it. So yeah, super awesome art. Go check that out. She has it all over Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. With that, we'll jump over to Sam. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I'm Sam. Twitch.tv/WizandFool. Twitter @TheWizandFool. I'm mostly here, recording this podcast that's going to be coming out soon from AP Gaming Real. Other than that, I am around playing games. So hit me up if you have thoughts about games and stuff. I had an absolute blast today. Was really surprised with the Tajak that blew me away. I'm super excited to see that, and I'm really interested in how this group is going to mesh, because I think this group of characters is going to be an interesting combo.
I'm super excited.
I'm excited, and thanks for watching. Thank you guys for playing with me.
And with that, we're done. That's everybody of importance. But just in case, Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Johnny, I'm the Video Store Cowboy. Video Store Cowboy everywhere except on Twitter, where it's Vid Store Cowboy due to a 15 character limit. You can find me here on Tuesdays. You can find me playing Esper Genesis over on Arvin Eleron's channel, occasionally on Fridays, and also doing world building and other cool stuff on my own channel as well. You guys did amazing tonight, and I got to tell you that that was a neat little thing that we got going on right at the end there with Silence and Tajak. I'm looking forward to exploring that a lot. Like there's that inspired so much in one little like conversation that we had almost a week ago, or just over a week ago. So it was good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. That being said, guys, if you want to support the channel, please go check us out on Patreon. That's what keeps the lights on here. It continues to allow us to do our 12-hour charity streams, which we have one coming up this Saturday. We have a 12-hour charity stream. 100% of the proceeds go to Sport Extra Life. We're playing 12 hours for 3-hour one-shots of various tabletop games. We'll have some Numenera on there. We have some D&D going on there. It's an awesome time. We're already up to $1,500 raised this year. We're shooting for our $10,000 goal. Johnny was part of the team last year. He's part of the team this year. Last year we raised just over $10,000, so we're trying to break that goal again. If you guys want to be part of the conversation, please join us in our Discord. And with that, we're going to go jump over and raid our friend Kit Battlebeard. He's currently playing Humblewood, which is a D&D game where you get to play tiny, adorable owls. So go check him out and give him all of your hot, sticky raid love. And for all of us of you guys, bye-bye.